Hey there, everyone. Happy Thursday. I am literally forgetting my days, but today I'm jumping on to talk with you guys about short sales and foreclosures as a first-time home buyer. And I am bringing on Miss Theresa Panzica, one of our best Chicagoland attorneys, and she's here now, so we'll just jump right on. Theresa, go ahead and click the button to join, and I should be able to pull you up. Let me pull it up on my computer as well, because I know there's a little bit of a delay. Okay, got it. Hey, Stacy, welcome. All right, Theresa, it should pop up now. Theresa, press it again. Hey, Juana, how are you? How have you been? We're waiting on Theresa to join in. We're going to talk about foreclosures and short sales for first-time home buyers. Okay, there we go. Oh, okay. It's finally popping up now. Hey, Sandra, how are you?
All right, good. I'm on.
Finally, it's popping up. It took a minute. There's so much of a delay on Facebook.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm gonna log in on my computer so I don't miss any comments or anything that's popping up.
Okay.
But today it's gonna be a quick broadcast. Thank you so much, Theresa, for jumping on and chatting with me today and sharing your knowledge about foreclosures and short sales, which I know you're the specialist in.
Yeah.
You are such an amazing I found out about Theresa, guys, back right after the crash. I was kind of impressed with all of the short sales that she was handling. So that's when I started to get to know Theresa a little bit more, started following her online. So I wanted to bring her here to share her with you all today, to share tips about foreclosures, purchasing a foreclosure and a short sale as a first-time home buyer. So Theresa, can you introduce yourself? Let everyone know a little bit about you.
Sure. So my name's Theresa Panzica. I have been practicing law for 12 years, but prior to that, I'm second generation attorney, and my dad's a lawyer's lawyer, meaning that he likes to work a lot. So I was in the trenches as a kid. So even though, like, lawyer-wise, I only have 12 years experience, but I've been in the trenches since the 80s. So sometimes it feels like a lifetime.
Right, it is. It definitely is. I actually fell in love with real estate as a kid, going to estate sales with my mom. I only wanted to go to see the houses. I didn't really want to go to buy anything, just to see the houses. So, yeah. So welcome, everybody. What I'm going to do after we're done, I didn't have time to do it before. I'm going to edit the comment, or not the comments, the post info, and put all of Theresa's contact information and my contact information as well, so you can reach out to both of us after we're done. So Theresa, let's talk about short sales and foreclosures. Let us know. So let's talk about the difference first, and then explain a little bit about each one.
So it is kind of confusing because those terms sometimes become interchangeable, especially the foreclosure part, right?
Yeah.
So typically people that do a short sale are delinquent, so then they would be in the foreclosure process. Some people use the word foreclosure process or pre-foreclosure. So whereas a foreclosure, in the sense that you're talking, like when you hear someone say short sale and foreclosure, A foreclosure is more referring to a house is foreclosed, the bank put it on auction, nobody bought it, the bank bought it back, and then a realtor is marketing it for sale to the public. But a short sale, usually people are delinquent. Sometimes they're not in the foreclosure or pre-foreclosure process, but typically you have to be underwater. That's why it's short. You're shorting the bank. You owe 200. Now your house is only worth 150 plus closing costs. You're shorting them about like 70,000 or more. And short sales typically require some sort of hardship. If you have a severe hardship, sometimes the banks do not require a delinquency, meaning you can be current on your mortgage, which is nice because if you're able to be current on your mortgage and do a short sale, you're able to buy quicker. Some banks have special programs where you can buy right away after that. So the hardships that you can have in short sale so if you're in this situation, definitely give Knifie a call because she starts the process, not I. So she has to list it for you for at least 7 days, get you a buyer. And then that's where we come in. So if you have your hardship of death of a co-borrower, divorce, job loss, job transfer more than 250 miles, so no, like, Schaumburg to Chicago is not going to count, but like Chicago to Nashville, like that would work, And then the last one is illness, so documented illness. So if you have one of those, if you can't make the payments, like never do anything in a short sale because it's a short sale. But if you can remain current and then you have one of those, definitely important for you to reach out to Knifie right away because those people can qualify for short sales easier, quicker. Sometimes they don't have to miss their payments. So those are definitely good. But if you don't have those 5, you could still have, like my bills are more than what I make. It doesn't have to be that serious. Sometimes it gets a little bit tougher with those, but it can be done.
Cool. That's super helpful because a lot of people, of course, they reach out to the attorney first. They don't know that you have to have it listed in advance. So I'm glad that you kind of pointed that out. So that is all about short sales. That's the confusion that a lot of people have with the short sales. So with foreclosures, let's jump back into short sales. When people are purchasing, what the time frames? This is a big issue with a lot of buyers. Can you go into the time frames of the short sales?
So, it's definitely really important that if you're going to buy a short sale or a foreclosure, you work with someone like yourself, Knifie, and our office because real estate traditionally, people go to their friends and family for recommendations and everyone thinks they could just like pick up real estate and like no problem. What ends up happening then is that the buyers get bad advice and then instead of having this great opportunity, which the reason why short sales and foreclosure are so great is because you're supposed to be getting a discounted price. So the house is worth 200 and you're getting it for 170, right? That's a good deal. So when you're getting $30,000 off the purchase price, your attorney and realtor are supposed to remind you of that. Anytime there's something that you don't like, you're supposed to be reminded of it. That is the only way that a realtor and attorney are supposed to counsel you when you're purchasing a short sale because things are going to come up like, hey, the seller has a lien against them for, X amount and the bank won't cover it and the title company won't cover it. We need you to cover it. Or the bank wouldn't approve a couple $800, $1,000 of fees. We need you to pay for it. All those things, I get it. It adds up. You pay 1,000 here, 1,000 there. Okay, you're up 2,000. Okay. Now instead of being up 30, you're up 28. When the comps start at 200 and you're getting it for 170 and they go up to, usually comps aren't comparable houses that are sold are not like one price, right? Like it's a range. So Knifie's going to say like, okay, this house is worth somewhere between like 200 and 225. You're getting it for 170. So on a bad day, instead of you walking away with the 30,000 in equity that you thought, you're only walking away with 28. So, we don't care about all these things that we're paying for, or the fact that the seller left some garbage in the garage. You're getting $28,000. When's the last time you made $28,000 in a day? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not really, and unfortunately, people will go to people that don't have any experience in that and won't give clients that perspective. And in my opinion, I think buyers over the years, because of that bad advice, have missed out on so many great opportunities that, frankly, like, I'm not sure if those opportunities with the huge discounts are as prevalent as they were back then. And, you know, like I said, time and time again, we would see these buyers being represented by people that, like, would not give them any perspective. So having that perspective on the value is the only thing you should make your decision on. So if you're getting it for 200 and you really love it and you say it's a range of 200 to 225, well, then you say, you know what, like, it potentially could be 25,000 in equity. I'm going to buy it. Or let's say they're getting it for 225 and it's at their cap, but they really like it. Then you take it, you know? So it's like a lot of, I think there's a lot of people getting advice from novices that are like not giving them any perspective. So that's, I think, the most important thing when you're buying a short sale is to maintain that perspective.
Yeah, a lot of people come to me and they see the gorgeous short sales they're on sale online on Zillow or wherever they find them. And then I explain the process to them and they kind of like get a little scared about it. So that's why I wanted to create this video with you. That's what made me think about you, so I can have something to share with them. I know in the beginning, when short sales first started, the processing time, or not processing time, but closing time, was about 9 months for some. Is it still that same time
frame? So the time frames vary. Like, we'll get some that are approved like lightning quick, but again, it all goes back to that perspective. Like, okay, if you get $28,000 off and you close in a month, or you close in 9 months, still is a pretty good deal, right? I don't know any investment vehicle where you wait 9 months and make 28,000. You know what I'm saying? So that perspective, and being with a professional like yourself, Knifie, or with our firm, as opposed to someone that doesn't have any experience in this and maybe does, you know, tax or divorce or criminal law, like it's a different ballgame. Like, you should stick with people that know. It's a crapshoot on whether or not it's going to go fast. There's nothing that you can do as a buyer to manipulate it. Even as a seller, like, we did a project one time when we were 100% short sales. We gave everyone in the office a file and we called on it every single day. Did not expedite the process. Did not.
Wow.
So now, because we were having some problems this year with the buyers canceling. They were canceling for 2 reasons. One, it would get countered and the buyers would say, buy, right? I don't care. They countered. I put 170, they countered to 190. The range of value is 200 to 225. That said, I'm gone. Or second, they would cancel after it got approved, like, for whatever reason, like cold feet, their loan didn't get approved, whatever. So our closing ratio was very poor. The national average for real estate is 85% of transactions are going to close. I mean, we closed with 80 pending in the new year. We closed maybe like a handful or 2 for the first quarter.
Wow.
So it was different. So it like gradually was going down, which means our closing ratio was going down. So we had to make a tough decision this year and just say, like, look, like, this is not fair to the sellers for us to take these files and let the buyers run amok. So now we give the buyers a week to sign off on our letter. And in our letter, it states that they're going to do their loan at the same time as we apply for the short sale, which it always should have been that way, but I didn't enforce it. Some people got really bent out of shape, but I'm telling you, like, look, if it gets countered to 190 and you have an appraisal for 170, that is a way that you can go to the bank and dispute it, right? If your realtor says, oh, but I can just give you a report of mine that I create and we'll do it that way. Trust me, the appraisals are weighted stronger with the bank. That will help us fight with the bank more, the short sale bank, to try to get you that 170 price, right? And then let's say we're successful, or let's say there isn't a counter, or you agree with the counter and you just say, fine, like, I'll take, you know, they countered to 180 and you take the 180. Remember, it's still worth 200, 225. Then your loan's ready. Once we get the approval letter, we can close right away. Because the old days, it was like, you know, maybe it would take 3 months to get approved. Then the buyer would take another 2 months to get approved. Honestly, last year we were seeing, we would get them approved quicker than the buyer got their loan. So we get them approved in 2 months. The buyers would take 4 months to get their loan. So you know, like I said, there's a lot of novice people putting their 2 cents in how the short sales should have been in the last decade, and they were all wrong. So why we appeased them for all that time is beyond me. So now, you know, this is how it has to be, because look at the end of the day, our time, you know, is whatever. That's not something that's on the table. The sellers were losing their homes because of buyers giving bad advice. The buyers were losing out on great opportunities because the buyers were being given bad advice. And, you know, we're just trying to get the thing approved and closed. But,
yeah,
you know, if people are counseling their people to cancel, what are you supposed to do? So, not good. Like those people that told their buyer clients to cancel in what years, Knifie? 08, 09, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
Those people are probably, how much money did those people miss out on?
They're kicking themselves right now.
They were fighting with us for $500. Foolish, right?
Right.
So that's why, like, it's really, people need to work with someone like you, honestly, and like us if they're going to do this, just so that they can get someone that gets perspective to them. As simple as that.
Yeah. So what should they expect for foreclosures with myself? I purchased a foreclosure back in 2013. Basically, the market was just going up again. 2013 for $100,000, and it's basically doubled in value now.
That's good.
So a lot of people missed out on a lot of things, like you're saying, because they didn't want to purchase the short sales, or they were scared to purchase the foreclosures,
or they were counseled to be scared, which is even worse.
Right. So tell people a little bit about what to expect when they're purchasing, when they're purchasing foreclosures.
Okay.
Because a lot of people are still scared to do that as well.
Right. So, I mean, it all goes back to the same perspective that, like, you have to be working with professionals that are experienced with this, so that way they can give you perspective, so that when the bank says you're going to have to pay for transfer stamps that normally you wouldn't have to pay for, or you're going to have to pay for some other costs that you normally wouldn't have to pay for, or you're not going to be able to do a home inspection and ask for anything to be fixed. All those things, like, if we just use the same numbers again, if you're gaining, you know, if the house is worth 200 to 225 and you're getting it for 170, well, that's the reason why you're paying a couple thousand extra that you wouldn't have to. That's why you're buying the home without the bank fixing anything. You know, you might go in there and do the inspection, and the 170 might be priced appropriately. Or you might go in there and find out that it's going to be $10,000 worth of repairs. But if potentially your equity is like a minimum, you know, of, instead of 30,000, now it's 20,000 or more. It's still, or you could buy something full price and penny nickel and dime the seller for the light bulb that's out and the dishwasher that doesn't work.
And the little screen rip, just a little rip.
Right. So it's like, okay, you can pay 20 grand more, get everything the way that you want, or pay less. And honestly, some of the repairs can borderline be cosmetic. So then maybe you even get a house where you're able to put your own touch on it even too.
Yeah. So that's a good thing, because most of us watch HGTV anyway. So we want to have our home exactly how we want it. So that's a good thing to move into something that's not already fixed up with someone else's taste. So.
Right.
So,
I wouldn't be scared. I think it just, if you are being guided by people that have experience like you and I, there's nothing really to be scared of. The only thing that really makes me nervous with either of those two when you're buying is I've had a couple people this year, for whatever reason, buying in the city. They weren't foreclosure or short sale, but they were kind of like a discounted property distress sale a little bit, like where the seller was just taking the loss. They had building code violations from the city against them, and the buyers just like really wanted to get in there, and they wouldn't allow us the time to figure out how much was owed to the city for all the violations.
Right.
So that can, if you're going to do this, that's why it's important to work with professionals again, so that when we find something like that, like, I get it, you want to get into the house and close, but when you find something like that, like, you have to have the patience to be able to figure out, Is there anything owed? What am I going to have to do to get those things cleared? Am I taking subject to those violations? Most of the time the buyer is going to take subject to it. And then there's costs included. So either you're going to handle, like, let's say they say there's no cost, but you still have to go to court to resolve the matter, show, maybe they'll want some repairs. Like you might have had to make repairs and then show the city inspector that they're fixed, go back to court, have the city inspector tell the court that everything's fine. And then the case would get dismissed, but that's extra work for you. So you just kind of have to know what you're getting into. And a lot of people don't check that because they believe that if it's not on title, they don't have to check, but it's not true. Like absolutely not true. So you should always
available online.
Right. So if you see that, you have to get the information, like how much. Hopefully there's none, but until you get that in writing, you don't know. So you don't want. You want to know what everything's going to cost. I understand that, you know, the city stuff can be concrete and they say like the fine's $5,000. The work to remedy that might not be concrete. So as long as people understand that part, because that's something that you and I are not really involved in, right? If a contractor comes and says, okay, it's going to cost me $10,000 to repair, and then he goes in there and it's more, I think just having that knowledge that like, might be more, you know, he says 10, but it might be 20. Are you okay with that? Just kind of educating yourself, because then maybe that's not good enough. Then maybe you want to pass, but maybe you don't, you know what I'm saying? So you just have to kind of see what everything is all in to be able to make an informed decision.
Yeah, just know to check in advance, because like the city of Chicago has that website for the violations that can be pulled up. And then other cities, like in my local area, Bellwood, Maywood, Westchester, you can get a list of it as long as the seller has already completed that inspection. So you can get it in advance. So instead of waiting 6 weeks to cancel or so. That's a good thing. So thank you, Theresa, for all of this info. Is there anything else that you want to add to let people know about what to expect for foreclosures and short sales?
No, I mean, other than, you know, really just stick with professionals, because honestly, that's half the battle. So, you know, if you're in good hands, we'll tell you what to expect or what to look out for. So it's definitely not for the faint of heart. And, you know, because you and I handle those, obviously, when we're doing consumer to consumer transactions, like a walk in the park in terms of there's really no danger or anything to look out for. So I know that they're in good hands with you on traditional consumer to consumer things also, which we can do.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Theresa, so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
We'll share this with everyone. If you want to go ahead and just give people your contact info, I am going to edit the video also to add it, so they'll have it there as well. But just let people know how they can contact you.
Okay, so our telephone number is 773-539-5970. And if you'd like to send us your contract for when you're buying or selling your house, the email is really simple: contracts with an S at Panzica, which Knifie's going to have to spell for you, right? lawoffice.com. So contracts at panzicalawoffice.com.
Okay. All right. And I'll add that into the post information, so you'll be able to contract Miss Theresa. So thank you, Theresa, once again for joining me. And thank you, everyone that showed up today.
Have a good day.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.